Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you very late tonight for this next movie review. Hopefully you'll enjoy this movie review for Love Lies Bleeding, the 2024 film that I got a chance to watch for myself, see what I was going to think of this film overall. So I'm going to discuss what I watched for this hour and 44-minute movie of Love Lies Bleeding, and let you know my thoughts on this movie overall. So let's dive into this movie review. Now it stars Kristen Stewart in this movie. And there's a fair amount of casts that were pretty interesting in this film. Excuse my yawning. I'm gonna be going to bed pretty soon. But pretty much with this film, I think it was okay. Kristen Stewart's acting and her performance was fairly average in this film. It wasn't terrible in any way. I think this film actually was probably a little more impressive. Not one of the best films I've seen, but still a fairly alright film. There are some, however, execution flaws with this film. The pacing, the certain scenes that didn't strike very well, like some of the ecstasy scenes or whatever you call it, the trippy scenes that were really weird in this movie. It kind of was overutilized and not in a good way, and like they worked on it a little too much, and it made it a little cringy of a watch through. But I think that was only in the beginning, but the rest of the movie pans out a little better. But I think Kristen Stewart's performance was pretty alright in this film. You have Dave Franco that's in this film. I think Ed Harris too. Excuse me, yawning. But overall, I think this movie was fairly decent. In a way, it's probably at least a little better than Damsel. I'll tell you that. Maybe about average. I don't know. I'm still deciding where I'm gonna place it as a rating. But I think with this film, this was probably a better film that I've seen for the March 8th releases that came out this year. And I know I'm still behind on movies. I still gotta get caught up with some movies. I got now the March 15th ones after this. So I'm in the process of getting down to Ghostbusters and Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire. So it's gonna take a little bit, but not too much longer. But overall, I think this film was fairly decent. There were some execution moments that didn't strike out well, but I think the overall premise was interesting for this film. Um, it starts off kind of cringy, but then it picks up later on, and it gets a little better, and it makes it much more of an interesting watch towards the end of the film. I mean, there's still some cringy points to this film with some of the scenes, but I think execution-wise, it panned out decently. So if I were to give this movie its deserved score, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's a decent film. I would say now, going back to Damsel, I would give that a 6 as of now. It's kind of weak. Maybe lesser, I don't know. But you'll see Damsel on my okay to man movies of 2024 list. So that is a list that I will be doing. I don't know if I'm going to have to delay some of the end of the year videos to January, but we'll just wait and see. Because I want to at least try to get finished up on every movie and get current with everything up to, I think, before December, which is going to be a tough ride, but I'll get as far as I can, basically. That means I can't do any more drama videos for a little while. But overall, I mean, I'll do it some of the time, but it just if I necessarily have to. I just want to get caught up on movies, just to be current with everything. But other than that, 7 out of 10 for Love Lies Bleeding. I think it's a decent film. It's not one of the worst films I've seen this year, but there are some cringy moments through this film that I had some sus moments and was like, okay, that's kind of overstepping it a bit. But I think this film kind of worked for what it went for. So, yeah. With that being said, 7 out of 10 for Love Lies Bleeding. Thank you for watching this movie review tonight. Have a good night.